In today's video, we're going to talk about the present tense of regular verbs in Spanish. Now, before we start, you need to know that we use the present tense for two things in Spanish. One, to say what is happening now. So in sentences like, mis padres bailan, means my parents are dancing, or Ana lee su libro, Anna is reading her book. We also use the present tense to describe things which happen in general. For example, mis padres bailan mucho, my parents dance a lot, or Ana lee todos los días, Anna reads every day. So in both sentences, we've got the same verb form, bailan, but it can mean they dance or they are dancing. Lee, she is reading, or she reads. So how do we form the present tense? Well, you probably already know that there are three types of verbs in Spanish: AR verbs, ER verbs, and IR verbs. They're so called because their infinitive forms, their two forms, end in these two letters. So for AR verbs, like hablar, to talk, estudiar, to study, ER verbs like comer, to eat, and beber, to drink, and IR verbs like escribir, to write. To simplify present tense conjugations, we're going to combine ER and IR verbs into one group. So we've got our two groups of verbs, AR verbs and ER and IR verbs. To conjugate these verbs, we're going to take off the last two letters of the infinitive and add the following sounds: A for AR verbs and E for ER and IR verbs. These two sounds give us the forms for él, ella, and usted, or he, she, and the polite, formal you form. Some examples of this would be: Ana habla francés. Ana speaks French. Mi amigo toca la guitarra. My friend plays the guitar, or is playing the guitar. Él toca el piano y ella canta. He plays the piano and she sings. Enrique no vive aquí. Enrique doesn't live here. Mi hermana escribe mucho. My sister writes a lot. ¿Qué come usted? What are you eating? So, we've got our two key sounds, a and e, which give us the third person singular, the he, she form of the verb, or the formal you. So these two sounds, we're going to hook on the letter S. This gives us the tú form of the verb, or the you form of the verb. So we get sentences like these: ¿Tocas un instrumento? Do you play an instrument? ¿Qué escuchas? What are you listening to? ¿Vives aquí? Do you live here? ¿Por qué no comes carne? Why don't you eat meat? ¿Lees a menudo? Do you read often? Notice how in each of these sentences we've not included the pronoun tú, because the ending of the verb, that s that we've hooked on, tells us already that we're talking to you. We've got a and e, and we've hooked on s for you. A different hook, the letter n, gives us the ending for ellos, ellas, and ustedes, the they forms of the verb, and the plural you, which is used throughout Latin America. This gives us sentences like, mis padres hablan chino. My parents speak Chinese. Ana y Enrique cantan muy bien. Ana and Enrique sing really well. Ellos viven en el centro, pero Carmen vive en las afueras. They live in the center, but Carmen lives in the suburbs. ¿Qué comen ustedes? What are you eating? This time talking to more than one person. So, we've got a, e as our key sounds, which give us the third person singular. We can hook on an s to give us the tú form. We can hook on an n to give us the third person plural, or the you plural form. Now we're going to hook on mos. This gives us the nosotros form, but there's one thing to watch out for. Although amos and hemos give us the we form for AR and ER verbs respectively, for IR verbs, we're going to change our vowel sound to imos, with the letter I, not the letter E. Let's take a look at some examples. Estudiamos mucho. We study a lot. No hablamos italiano. We don't speak Italian. Comemos ahora? Shall we eat now? Or are we eating now? Vivimos en un piso moderno. We live in a modern apartment. Now notice how, because vivir is an IR verb, the nosotros form uses the letter I. Vivimos en un piso moderno. Vemos el partido en la tele. We're watching the match on the TV. So, our key sounds a, e, can be combined with s to give us the U form, the n to give us the they or the U plural form, and mos to give us the we form, remembering that for IR verbs we will have imos, not hemos. We've missed out one final form of the verb, arguably the most important. To talk about what I do, our verbs are going to end in o. So the yo form almost always ends in o. Some examples of this would be toco la batería, I play the drums. No hablo mucho, I don't talk much. Veo la tele a menudo, I watch the TV often. Vivo en una casa en las afueras, I live in a house in the suburbs. Escribo un mensaje a mi amiga, I'm writing a message to my friend. And there you have it. For regular verbs, our key sounds are going to be a, e, to give us the third person singular. We're going to hook on s to give us the you form, n to give us the they form, and mos to give us the we form. And when we want to say what I do, our verb will end in o. However, there are 3 exceptions to this final rule which I want to talk about. Instead of ending in o, however, there's an exception to this final rule that I want to talk about here. Some verbs, instead of ending in o in the first person singular, end in oi. The first one is dar, to give. This behaves like an AR verb in all cases except the yo form. In the yo form, it becomes doy. Te doy mi libro favorito. I'm giving you my favorite book. The rest of the time, dar behaves just like a regular AR verb. So in the sentence, mis padres me dan dinero, we will hook the n ending onto our a sound to give us dan, they give. My parents give me money. Mis padres me dan dinero. The next one is estar, to be. Again, the yo form ends in oi. So, estoy muy bien. I'm very well. The rest of the time, estar behaves just like a regular AR verb. However, we're going to add an accent to the a sound. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Hooking on an s to give us the U form of the verb, estás. The final irregularity I want to talk about is the verb ir, to go. Now, this verb is completely irregular. You would never expect ir to become voy in the first person singular. Voy a la playa. I go to the beach, or I'm going to the beach. The rest of the time, ir behaves just like a regular AR verb, except that it starts with the letter V. So we get verb forms like va, vas, van. In this final example, vamos a la piscina. So in summary, to conjugate the present tense of AR, ER, and IR verbs, we need 2 sounds, a and e, to give us our he, she, and polite U form. To these sounds, we can hook on an s to give us the U form, n to give us the they form or the U plural form, and mos to give us the we form. Whenever we talk about what I do, our verb ending will be o, with the exceptions of doy, estoy, and voy.